magnificent new stadium, a resurgent Huddersfield Town, but the same old Wimbledon. Small men played crucial roles in a largely aerial battle. On 7 minutes, Rodney Rowe, in for the injured Ronnie Jepson in Huddersfield's front line, lost Chris Perry and squeezed his shot past Neil Sullivan. Huddersfield then survived a furious Wimbledon bombardment through the first half to go 2 up 3 minutes after the break. Paul Reed's corner and Tom Cowan's rising above bigger men in the box at the near post to head his 3rd of the season. Huddersfield were looking good, but Wimbledon were only starting. Efenet Koku headed Wimbledon an overdue first goal on 65 minutes. The bombardment continued without success. Then, deep in injury time and after a fearsome siege, Alan Kimball's corner confused goalkeeper and defenders, and Ekoku got his second to take the tie back to Selhurst Park. Heartbreaking disappointment for Huddersfield. Now it's Wimbledon's 3rd replay running in the Cup. Southampton saw off Swindon's promotion rivals Crewe in round 4 and had the best of this one early on before going behind to Kevin Horlock's 10th goal of the season. A fine move and an even better finish to make amends for his missed penalty in the 4th round. Southampton continued to have the best of it, but time was getting short when Matt Le Tissier's swinging corner on 76 minutes was headed home by Gordon Watson at the near post. Watson's 6th of the season, the tie surely swings in Southampton's favour, but Swindon could again prove a handful. No hint of an upset as Liverpool turned it into a Sunday morning stroll at Gay Meadow. Liverpool gained an immediate stranglehold and they were quick to get their passing game started. Steve McManaman setting up Stan Collymore to claim his 11th of the season. The Premier League stars remained dominant, but they had to wait until 20 minutes from time to put the result beyond doubt. Even then, Shrewsbury helped them out. Dave Walton putting Phil Babb's header past his own keeper, Paul Edwards. Then the unfortunate Walton, who'd idolised Liverpool as a boy, compounded his embarrassment 5 minutes later. He gave Robbie Fowler the opportunity to rob him in possession. Fowler rounded Edwards too and accepted his 26th of the season, perhaps one of the most straightforward. With Liverpool cruising to victory, Collymore and McManaman did the build-up work for the 4th and final goal. Jason McAteer rounding off the scoring. Liverpool taking their tally to 11 without reply in this season's FA Cup. They're still around behind their big rivals, but they've done nothing wrong so far.
They're on that right side for Ipswich. Now Thompson. Oh, very curious back pass, which so nearly embarrassed young Richard Wright, the 18-year-old, in goal for Ipswich. Straight to Southgate. Steve Staunton. And the Irish internationals linked up with Draper. Now Wright. They're going to keep that in play. Draper again. So much revolves around him for Aston Villa. This is Draper! Terrific goal! 10 minutes gone, and he struck it beautifully then, right into the corner. Well, he doesn't score all that often. It's only his 5th of the season. But he's hit this one so accurately. Just deceiving there the challenge of Simon Milton, and then beyond right. Hit with force and certainly with accuracy. And Aston Villa have the lead through Mark Draper. Townsend. This is Staunton with the cross. Milosevic almost on the end of it. It's away for the corner off Tony Mowbray. Also some Premier League games today. News of those in just a moment. Here's Draper with the corner. And York's header! Was it in? It is now. 19 minutes gone. And Aston Villa have a second goal. That man, Dwight York, yet again. 7 in 4 games now. It obviously crossed the line from the header by York. Let's see it again here on the replay. Draper's corner. And that's Stockwell on the line. He couldn't keep it out, and he's hooked it back behind him. Yeah, it's definitely York who made contact there. Stockwell on the line. It was already over. Dwight York will certainly claim it. Free kick to Ipswich. Scowcroft from Milton. Super save by Mark Bosnich. What reflexes then? Simon Milton, who struck the shot. Scowcroft intelligently laying it off to him. Took a deflection on the way there. 22,000 in the ground today, a sellout crowd. Business was very brisk after the win over Walsall on Tuesday. Scowcroft now from Marshall's header. Oh, he's pulled it back. In goes Marshall. And just wide from Stockwell. Villa was struggling then. The dismay of Brian Little. Very relieved at the end. It didn't go in. One in the air well by Marshall. Off goes Scowcroft as Ehihog had gone for the same ball. Well, should he have had a strike at goal then? I think in the end it may have come off Staunton as Stockwell came in. So it's an Ipswich corner. Essentially will take it. Mowbray on for Scowcroft. And Bosnich taking no risks there, tipping it over the bar. This is a very promising spell for Ipswich. And if they can just get one back, we would really have a cup tie on our hands. Scowcroft with the header. Bosnich keeping it out. This is Stockwell. On for Marshall. Now Mason. Well, he was the man whose goal knocked Blackburn out of the FA Cup. Walsall as well on Tuesday, remember. And he showed his awareness in front of goal there. Played in by Stockwell to Marshall. And it's hit not that far wide, although Bosnich, I'm sure, will tell you he would have covered it had it been on target. Now Mowbray. Always in trouble here. Thread it through to Milosevic. Is he going to break his barren spell? He's not. Well, he was so annoyed with himself last weekend, he kicked the goalpost in frustration. They just won't go in for him. Intelligently released here. Defenders converging on him, but you'd still fancy him to score. He slipped it past the goalkeeper, but past the post as well. Such a prolific scorer back in Yugoslavia with Partizan Belgrade. But only 9 for Aston Villa this season. He's promised them 25 in the league. He's got some way to go yet. Staunton to right. And slipped in by Milosevic. Just wide again. Good cross in by Staunton. And it almost shaved the post then. And Thompson to Milton. Williams again. Cohesive football for Ipswich. Can they find the killer chance? Shot by Marshall. Milton. Bosnich is there. Very brave, the goalkeeper. As Milton came steaming through. Now Milton. Milton's shot. And you felt there that Bosnich always had it under control. But they have opened the second half in encouraging fashion. And the First Division team. Bosnich with his body right behind the shot from Simon Milton. Now Charles. Plenty of movement from Villa. Milosevic. And he's picked out Staunton. And there's the header, and it's in. Ian Taylor. Wright couldn't quite get his hands to it. And Aston Villa have gone further in front. Almost 10 minutes gone in the second half. And surely now this FA Cup tie is beyond Ipswich's reach. The ball swung over by Staunton. It was a really good header. And Wright couldn't quite get down in time. Taylor in bravely. And it's just squeezed into the corner. Now Scowcroft, who pulled away from Staunton. Milton in support. Now Williams. And he's found Nick Stockwell. That's Milton. Taking on Townsend. Milton, it spins away. Came off Steve Staunton. And he remains a menacing figure, Simon Milton. Taylor on for Milosevic. And he's away here. Williams trying to bring him down. Still Milosevic. Surely he'll score this time. No. It's unbelievable, really. Right, on for Draper. Here come Villa again. Milosevic. They're trying to tee him up now. Still Milosevic. He's gone through. And he's gone down. And it's a penalty. I wonder, will they let him take it? Or is it? Well, no, I think the referee has not given the penalty, and he's going to caution perhaps Milosevic for diving. Let's see here. He's gone around the keeper. It was a theatrical dive to the ground. And I think he's been penalised rather than the other way round. Mason. And then McGrath to nick it away from Milton. That's Mowbray. He's found Uhlenbeck. Two in the middle. Uhlenbeck taking on Wright. And it's there. Mason. So for third consecutive FA Cup tie for Ipswich this season, Mason has scored. And it's a substitute who's laid it on. 6 minutes left. Well, you would think too late to save the game, but I wonder. Uhlenbeck and then Mason squeezing his shot in, despite the efforts of Bosnich to keep it out. Good pace shown by Uhlenbeck here. And some sharp finishing too from Mason. 10 goals for him this season, including those 3 now in the FA Cup. Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 3.
Well, that's turned up the heat, and it was already white hot here. Now suddenly they break clear, and Rosler has chipped Schmeichel, and Manchester City are in the lead. 11 minutes gone. Manchester United 0, Manchester City 1. Uwe Rosler, the hero of Main Road, has given them the lead. The Manchester United defence cut to shreds, totally square, and the through ball sent Rosler on his way in behind Bruce. But look at that for calm finishing in an atmosphere like this, to have the cool head, let alone the technique to be able to chip the goalkeeper from that range, underlines what a talented player Uwe Rosler is. Schmeichel got a hand to it, but couldn't keep it out. Bruce. Cole. It's a great layoff for Nicky Butt. And Butt got himself into a really dangerous position there, and it took 2 City defenders, Summerby and Curl, to deny him. Tremendous move by United. Lovely little knockdown by Cole. And at that point, it looked as though Nicky Butt had got himself into a goal-scoring position. The ball, Lomas to Summerby. He is an instinctive winger, of course. Nicky Summerby, though he's been used in a right-back role of late, with Richard Edgehill out with a broken leg. Here's Lomas for City, slipping the attentions of Keane impressively, and a dangerous-looking ball in, and again, the clearance, not of the highest order, but effective at least. Brown playing it forward, and Cladsid, nice little ball. Here's Uwe Rosler again, forced wide by Pallister. McQuinn, Rosler again, good effort. Quinn back to defend, and he'll know where the threat will be coming from. Pallister and also Bruce. And it almost sneaked in. It was a great save in the end by Immel, and with all Manchester City attention directed to Messrs Pallister and Bruce, the marking became a little sloppy, and Immel had to produce a terrific one-handed save from Roy Keane. But this time, a little push, and he seems to have given a penalty. I honestly thought for a moment that the push was by a United player on a City man, and that he was giving a free kick, but clearly he has awarded a penalty. Clearly he's awarded it. What is not clear is why. Well, even the players, and including the Manchester United ones, seem stunned by that decision. So, Manchester United gifted an opportunity to draw level before half-time. Eric Cantona will take the kick. And scores! The goal coming in the 39th minute. Manchester United won, Manchester City won. But surely a controversial award. Giggs with the penalty, with the corner that led to the penalty. Now it must have presumably been that challenge by Frontsek on Cantona. And the referee saw that as Frontsek deliberately holding down Cantona. Well, you see hundreds of challenges like that go unpunished. Maybe, strictly speaking, by the laws of the game, he was impeding an opponent. Cantona. Lovely football again, and a good challenge, but it's gone to Giggs. Just tried to catch Immel out. Clever shot by Giggs. Scored 7 times this season, Ryan Giggs. And as I mentioned moments earlier, he's looked far more dangerous now that he's switched to the left flank. It was almost on target. But it was a Giggs corner, remember, that led to United's penalty. Not this time, though. Cleared by Quinn, only as far as Cantona. It's a good first-time layoff. Keane shot! That was a terrific effort. And it is, in fact, the final piece of action of the half. Well, what drama that would have been. But for a matter of inches, Roy Keane might have been giving Manchester United the lead here, right on the stroke of half-time. Incidentally, during the half-time interval, referee Wilkie has confirmed that in that melee of players that we saw halfway through the first half, he also showed the yellow card to Keith Curle. And it's Curle caught out, trying to make the interception, and into the side netting. I think a lot of the crowd thought Lee Sharp had hit that into the back of the net. A stifled roar. And Curle here, in his effort to win the ball ahead of Nicky Butt, inadvertently turned it straight into the path of Sharp. Gary Pallister finding Cantona. Oh, great ball outside of the right foot, and it's come through to Sharp, and Immel loses it, and Curle hacks it clear, and the referee has got another problem here. That's about all I can say. I'm not entirely sure what he's given. And beaten on the far post, and Giggs heads it onto the top of the net. Pallister beat Quinn to the ball on the near post. A well-rehearsed, well-practiced routine, which almost brought a United goal. Giggs, in fact, you could argue, really should have done better here. Beautiful corner, wasn't it? He almost planted it straight onto the head of Pallister. The flick took it well beyond Immel, who committed himself totally. And Giggs, well, I think you've got to say, should have scored then. Neville. Cantona finding Keane. It's a great break from midfield by Keane. This time, Micah Immel was very safe and held on to it just as well, because if he'd spilled it out like the previous one, City might have been in trouble here. So typical of Roy Keane, that goal bursting through the centre like that. Ryan Giggs, perhaps he can open up this City defence, which has done extremely well. And there's a lovely little ball down the line, and it's pulled back to a Sharp. Lee Sharp gets the breakthrough. Manchester United take the lead. 78 minutes gone. And Ryan Giggs inevitably heavily involved in the build-up. Joy around three-quarters of Old Trafford. And Lee Sharp, for the second successive match here, gets an absolutely vital goal. Neville's pulled back, and right on the penalty spot, Lee Sharp dispatched it with convincing power and accuracy. Great little run by Giggs to start the attack. Neville pulled it back. The volley was crisp. Immel got a hand to it, but it was hit powerfully enough. Butt lines up the shot, perhaps. And he could well have sneaked the goal there on the near post. Sloppy ball, he was lucky to get away with that. Here's Roy. Oh, it's a brilliant run by Brian Roy, and that's a free kick. No question about that. Foul by Gary Mabbutt. And Brian Roy's superb close control here forced Mabbutt into this rather rash challenge. He just left him for dead with a little bit of trickery. Well, they'll miss Stuart Pearce here. This is well within range for him. And I bet he wishes he was out there now having a pot shot at Ian Walker in the Spurs goal. Could be Ian Woan instead. He's facing the camera. And he it is who hits it. And they didn't need Stuart Pearce. 3.5 minutes gone, and Ian Woan has scored a beauty. Walker holds his hands up and says, what can I do about that? And frankly, he's right. There was nothing any goalkeeper could have done about that. The wall broke, and Walker was given no hope. Free kick headed across goal, and there's the equaliser. Chris Armstrong, in the 8th minute, brings Tottenham level. A brilliantly worked free kick by Spurs. Chipped up by Calderwood, and despite the pressure, Sheringham got the header right into the danger area, and Armstrong did the rest. It wasn't easy by any means for Sheringham to win that ball, nor was it easy for Armstrong to find the corner of the net, but they both did their job superbly. And it looks like we've got some tie on our hands here. This is Wilson. Sets it up for Dazelle. Not a bad effort at all. Had the curiosity, Jason Dazelle, of being shown a yellow card in the first game. And although the match was abandoned, unbelievably, the booking must stand, and he is now close to a suspension because of that. Rosenthal holding off the defender and doing well to find Campbell. Danger for Forest here. It's in. He's done it again. Armstrong. "28 minutes gone, and Spurs from a goal down have gone a goal in front." Great play by Rosenthal and a superb cross from Campbell. Mark Crossley, though, will be concerned about the part he played in this goal. He really ought to have done better here, I think. He caught the ball and then dropped it, and Armstrong does not miss chances like those. Armstrong. Looking for a hat-trick now. And doing brilliantly. What a run! Oh! Well, if he'd scored then, that would have been a contender for one of the goals of the season. A magnificent run by Chris Armstrong from the halfway line. There he was, picking the ball up just inside the Forest half. Took on, had the strength and pace to shake off Bart Williams. Kept going and almost found the far corner of the goal. And it looks like Cooper's injury is more serious than we thought, and he's having to go off. Well, that's a massive blow to Nottingham Forest. He really is a key man for them. And Alf Inge Haaland, the Norwegian international, is already on in his place. And he almost came on in time to see a third goal. That looked a dangerous kick at the loose ball, and Crossley has got a very sore head. But it's all happening here. Cooper off, Haaland on, and before he could get a touch of the ball, he might well have found his side 2 goals behind. Gemmell on the line, just managing to touch it away. And that was brave goalkeeping indeed by Crossley. Towering header by Sheringham, and he went for the rebound and just caught Crossley in the face. I'm not entirely certain that Sheringham was really entitled to go for that. It seemed to me that with the bodies in front of him, that was a dangerous thing to do by Teddy Sheringham. Gemmell. One takes over again, and that's a great little ball. And Gemmell found the goal, surely at his mercy then, but couldn't get the ball under control. Beautiful ball by Wone, lifted over the top. And if Gemmell's first touch had been better here, they might have been level. Brilliant touch on for Ruel Fox. He's got inside Phillips here. There's an inviting ball. It could be the hat-trick. It should have been. Chris Armstrong could have had 3 goals even before the half-time whistle. Ruel Fox doing brilliantly from that fantastic touch on by Armstrong himself, in fact. And Armstrong just kept going into the penalty area. Fox knew he'd be there and picked him out beautifully. And in a way, that was as easy as either of the previous chances he scored from. Here's Ian Wone for Nottingham Forest, and they're backing away dangerously, and he sets it up for Stone. That could have been the equaliser. Steve Stone shakes his head in dismay. He knows that that was a golden opportunity to give Forest a marvellous psychological boost just before the interval. Wone set him up brilliantly. We've got to credit Walker, though, for cutting down the space so well and making that catch. Here's Des Little. That's a lovely ball. Gemmell. Inside to Stone. Oh, tremendous save! Walker, the hero once again for Tottenham. That really was a brilliant piece of goalkeeping. Forest believe they can get back into this game now. Little with the shot. He's not perhaps the man to get them back into it, though. He's only ever scored a couple of goals in his entire career for Forest. But this was the moment it looked as though Forest were going to get back into this game. Campbell's shot turned away by Walker, and he almost prodded it straight into the path of Brian Roy. And it was a wonderful reaction instinctively by Walker. Forest leaves it to Bart Williams. Now Des Little. Stone has Clive Wilson right behind him. He's been there most of the night, but he's lost him brilliantly, and that's a foul by Rosenthal. He's got to be in trouble here, Rosenthal. There's a card coming for sure. What colour? Looks like yellow, to his relief. Cynical foul, and the Israeli international. He becomes the fourth Tottenham player now to be cautioned. Rosenthal, Gazelle, Sheringham and Armstrong. And there could be further problems for Tottenham from the free kick, of course. Well, might fancy having a pop at this. He can get a real curl on the ball from there, and does so brilliantly! What a fantastic goal by Ian Woan! 72 minutes gone, and Ian Woan produces another magical free kick. Well, I said he'd think about having a pop, but I didn't expect it to be quite as spectacular as that. Tremendous goal, his second of the game from a free kick by Ian Woan. And Forest are deservedly, I think, in the second half level. And even the magnificent Ian Walker couldn't keep that one out. Clark Williams swinging it in, there's a good header. And who would it be but Ian Woan? And heading is not exactly one of his greatest strengths. And Roy suddenly arrives in space on the edge of the area. Forest throwing a lot of players forward now. Gemmell, no offside as Campbell goes in, and that'll be a corner. Spurs felt they should have had an offside decision. Just 2 minutes on the watch now as Rosenthal goes forward for Spurs. Couldn't quite deliver it to Rule Fox. And a huge kick downfield, and suddenly Walker had to come and claim it right on the edge of his own area. Good work again by the Spurs keeper. And at the other end, suddenly there's a problem for Crossley. Came out of nothing, and Sheringham might have snatched a winner there. Right.
Well, it is a watery White Hart Lane, but the problematic pitch protected from recent downpours here by plastic sheeting, which was taken off a couple of hours ago. Ian Woan did need a Saturday morning inspection on a sore knee, but he plays, and so too does the other two-goal hero from the first meeting, Chris Armstrong, whose twisted ankle also passed the check an hour or so before kickoff. Jason Dazell's yellow card in the snowstorm at the City Ground took him into the realms of suspension. A two-game ban begins today, so Clive Wilson is switched into midfield. Justin Edinburgh, who's missed 6 games, returns at left back, and there's also the anticipated recall for Ronnie Rosenthal in place of the cup-tied Andy Sinton. Forest are carrying a few bumps and bruises, but the only change from the mix against Bayern Munich is Des Little regaining the right-back spot at the expense of David Phillips. Alf Inge Haaland continues in the centre of defence. Colin Cooper still recovering from the problem he picked up against Spurs 10 days ago. The sight of Stuart Pearce, such a comfort to Forest fans. The captain came through well in his comeback game in Munich. And Gary Mabbutt's presence is similarly reassuring for Spurs as he lines up for them for the 600th time. It's a great achievement for Gary. And it will surely be recorded in the annals of this famous North London club. The cockerel, the emblem here.
23, Sol Campbell. On the subs bench, number 13, Eric Torsvet. Number 14, Stuart Nethercott. And number 29, Stephen Slade.
Well, the Tottenham fans saw their side get to the semi-final last season. The disappointment of coming so close. The prize today as they honour Gary Mabbutt. A win for Spurs and a place in the quarter-finals this season. This much delayed 5th round tie. It must be settled this afternoon. And Trevor Francis with more than a passing interest in Nottingham Forest from his own playing days. Trevor, how do you see it?
Well, 10 days ago it was a difficult game to call at the City Ground, and that's the way it proved. An exciting 2-2 tie. That's why we're here today for the replay. And I feel today will be equally as tough. Very, very difficult game to call, Martin.
Forest to kick off. Both sides have reached this stage the hard way. Taken to replays in rounds 3 and 4 by lower division opposition. It seemed almost inevitable, particularly after the abandonment, but it would need a second game to separate Spurs and Forest. The referee, Gary Willard, who's been in charge from the moment the ball was first kicked on that snowy night in Nottingham, getting on for 3 weeks ago. We didn't get very far then. The 2-2 draw that subsequently took place was a real thriller to make all and sundry lick their lips about the prospects of how it will be decided here at White Hart Lane. Brian Roy gets there in front of Edinburgh. Stone, who scored the winner here in the league game back in the autumn. Nottingham Forest with a wonderful record at White Hart Lane, just one defeat in their last 12 visits here. Wone. Sheringham gets in for Tottenham. Fox. Campbell making some ground from right back, found by Wilson. Spurs lining up in the centre. Campbell's ball had a fair amount of thought behind it. And to steer it in towards Fox. Bart Williams to Stone, on for Roy, and now for Little. Stone setting off again, dragging Rosenthal with him, and he can reposition to support Little, and now Bart Williams. Pressed by Wilson, who wins the ball fairly, for the benefit of Armstrong. And Armstrong, although all the while Teddy Sheringham keeping pace on this near side of Chris Armstrong, was trying to get the message to Armstrong that Wilson was available on the left.
Yes, that was his best option, I felt there. Chris Armstrong wasn't aware that Clive Wilson had made a good supporting run. He elected to shoot all of 30 yards. But as you could see, it wasn't any trouble for Mark Crosley.
Sheringham trying to knock it down for Fox.
It all started through Chris Bart Williams, just delaying it too long, got caught in possession from Wilson. You mentioned that he didn't have a happy time last year, of course, missing them penalties against Wolverhampton Wanderers, but he also did play in an FA Cup final for Sheffield Wednesday, although that was another defeat.
Chatting. Here's Wone. There's no offside. It's Brian Roy in against Ian Walker. First blood for Nottingham Forest. In the 9th minute. The side with the wonderful record coming here to play at White Hart Lane. Somehow this ground always inspires Forest. And Roy is through.
Well, there were calls for offside, but quite clearly you can see there that Edinburgh plays him onside. Roy's in the clear. His first touch isn't particularly good. It takes him too close to Walker, but his second touch is brilliant. Just lifts it over the advancing Walker. Forest in the lead.
It's his 9th goal of the season. That makes him Nottingham Forest's outright leading scorer. He was level with Ian Wone. Told you something about Forest, but no one's got more than that many. Here's Campbell. Tottenham will feel they've got the artillery in Sheringham and Armstrong. And now they will need them to be hitting the target. Pearce. Roy, caught by Calderwood. The Spurs players feel that Brian Roy made a meal of that.
Well, I can't see what the complaints are about there. Brian Roy just knocked the ball off. Calderwood's come in a little bit late.
Well, with Stuart Pearce out of the side recently, of course, Ian Wone, particularly spectacularly against Ian Walker has been taking the free kicks. But Bart Williams is the joker in the back between the two left-footers. It's his cross. Gamble to hit it first time. Campbell. Sheringham. Almost got lucky against Chettle. Both players guilty of a bit of miscontrol. Wilson. Haaland into the back of Armstrong. And it's certainly a free kick.
I would think a booking too for it. It is a tackle from behind.
Harry Willard pulls the Norwegian across. So Stone and Haaland cautioned within a matter of moments. Now, is that an indication of maybe a start in the shift of the balance of power here? Tottenham will certainly hope so. Well, it was all about Nottingham Forest free kicks at the City Ground. Now's a chance for Tottenham to show what they're made of. Will it be Sheringham? Wilson is there. Crossley's view masked a little bit by the wall. He's trying to get a sighter of it now. It's Sheringham. It's 1-1. Mark Crossley totally beaten by a splendid Teddy Sheringham set piece here. And this is certainly the fifth round tie of the free kicks.
Magnificent strike, isn't it?
Sheringham's defensive header, Stone. But the stoppage time period, typical of another enthralling half between these two great rivals. We're still nowhere any nearer knowing who Aston Villa will play in the sixth round. Brian Roy got Forest in front with an early goal. Spurs very slow to settle, and then along came Teddy Sheringham with a quite superb free kick. At half-time at White Hart Lane in this FA Cup fifth round replay, it's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Whoa. Not so good with a moving ball as with the dead ball.
He was a little bit unlucky actually, because just as he was about to strike it, I think you'll find the ball just bobbles up slightly. That forced him to shoot off target.
There. Fox tries again. And it gets the better of Pearce. Howell's trying to put the header back across the goal. It was a good area to aim for. But Stuart Pearce, of course, who's been very short of football with his injury, was struggling then against Fox on the far side.
Yes, he hasn't got the better of Pearce on too many occasions this afternoon. Fox gets a lucky break there, puts a good ball to the back post. They actually get 2-on-1 at the back post, Spurs.
Sheringham, Tottenham have a player down. That doesn't deter Teddy Sheringham. Heads it forward. Mabbott, Armstrong trying to turn. He has turned.
Well, it was too easy, wasn't it, the way he turned? He's got his back to Bart Williams, wriggles away onto his right foot. I think he would have fancied himself there to have scored. Once he gets it onto that right foot, should be lucky to hit the target.
Great competition is full of dramatic moments. Is there another one coming up here for Chris Armstrong from a ball that bounced forward off Howells? We're now into the fifth extra minute added on by the referee. It's extra time at White Hart Lane. So the two goalkeepers are ready. The physios have done their work, and extra time begins at White Hart Lane. Howells, one of a number of players carrying injuries from the exertions to this point.
Yes, but the way he burst through here suggests that he's completely recovered from that knock he took. That's certainly been confirmed, the way he went past Pearce.
Sheringham. Rosenthal's cross, it comes to Fox. And those kind of ricochets, if they're with you, well, as it was for Mark Crossley, the ball came very comfortably. On another day, at another time, it might have ended up in the back of the Forest net.
Yes, it was a poor cross from Ronnie Rosenthal. Fox had good fortune because it fell straight to him. And his shot was well blocked.
Phillips. Oh, it's through Edinburgh. And McGregor, is this the moment for him, for the substitute? Ian Walker coming off his line, got in the way, and two to McGregor's right for Nottingham Forest, turned away, feeling that McGregor had picked the wrong option. To say Colin Cooper, who we mentioned earlier, who was injured in the first match between these two clubs. Fox, Ronnie Rosenthal is in here, and it's off the line brilliantly by Pearce. When they were composing their celebrations in most parts of the ground. Wilson brings down McGregor and he's going to be booked.
Magnificent defending this from Pearce. He reads the danger. Great little chip from Rosenthal. Brilliant defending from Pearce. That's how Roy scored the goal. That's what McGregor should have done some 10 minutes ago. Rosenthal did it and was unlucky not to score.
So it's come to this after an enthralling 2 hours. The sparkle really in the first half of regulation time, when the two goals were scored by Roy and by Sheringham. As Trevor was saying, the defenders certainly got to grips with it after that. Some brilliant examples of those particular arts. A fine save from Paul McGregor by Ian Walker. A wonderful clearance off the line by Stuart Pearce to stop Ronnie Rosenthal winning it for Spurs. Mark Crossley, who knows a thing or two about saving penalties, will he be the trump card for Nottingham Forest?
Well, although the two managers would have already discussed prior to the game just who's going to take them, obviously there may have been 1 or 2 substitutions that would have affected their penalty taking. They've also probably asked the players if they really feel confident to take them at this moment.
Thank you. And we'd also like to remind all supporters that except in an emergency, it is an offence.
Well, Chris Bart-Williams, who of course missed the penalty at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday against Wolves in the first match last season, in that drama that went on to Molineux, and a penalty shootout in which Chris Waddle also brought back memories of the World Cup semi-final of 1990, as Stuart Pearce will, if he steps forward here.
Well, Stuart Pearce has already grabbed the ball. Does that suggest he's going to take the first?
It suggests he wants to get on with it. He's rolled the ball forward. What is certain at the moment is that the episode will take place at the right-hand end of the ground. And indeed, whether it's just a case of getting up there and getting it over with, more likely it's a case of I'm going to set the right example here for the Nottingham Forest captain.
Well, he's done that all afternoon. considering his lack of fitness, he's been absolutely superb.
Well, Pearce will place the ball on the penalty spot and look at a wall of Tottenham faces behind that goal. Stuart Pearce in a penalty shootout again. He starts this one at White Hart Lane against Ian Walker and he buries it. And he's quite prepared to take a bow, even though there are not too many cheers for him behind that particular goal. 1-0 to Forest.
Well, there's not a lot the manager can do at this moment, but I'm sure Frank Clark would settle for 5 penalties like that.
A year ago, Clive Wilson, with a penalty, put Queen's Park Rangers into the quarter-final against Millwall. And indeed, QPR have certainly missed Clive's expertise from the penalty spot in recent weeks. But he's failed for Tottenham. Mark Crossley, who saved that Gary Lineker penalty in the 1991 FA Cup final at Wembley, has saved here from Wilson.
Moves slightly early, reads it well, and in the end it's a comfortable save for Crossley.
Now, Forest have the advantage, but it's still early days. Brian Roy is the second player to step up for Frank Clark. And Walker makes a pretty comfortable stop. It's not over yet by any means.
Not a good penalty that from Roy. Too central. Walker makes quite an easy save. We've had 3 penalty takers so far, all left footers. It's about time we got a right footer.
Well, it's Ronnie Rosenthal, and I would think it's going to be more of the left foot, is it? This to level it at 1-1. And another stop by Crossley, who went a long way and read Rosenthal's mind.
It's interesting that we've had 4 left footers and 3 out of the 4 have taken the kick across their body to the keeper's left-hand side.
There's definitely another left footer coming now because it's Ian Woe.
It'll be interesting to see if he puts it to Walker's left-hand side.
Wone, who scored a penalty in the FA Cup this season at Oxford. High into Walker's net. 2-0 to Forest.
Well, this is unstoppable. Perhaps if the keeper stands his ground, doesn't move, he may get his hand to it, but I would think the force of the shot would still have beaten Walker.
Well, Spurs still looking to register in the shootout. Rule Fox. And he hammers it past Crossley.
Well, it's about time they had a right footer. Thinking penalties, you need to mix it up a bit. It's like cricket. One fast bowler from one end, one spinner from the other end. Gets the batsman thinking, as it does in penalty shootouts with a goalkeeper. One left footer, one right footer.
Well, there's no change for Nottingham Forest in that respect because it's going to be Steve Chettle. And he scores. Nottingham Forest are getting very close indeed.
This is a brilliant penalty from Chettle. Like Pearce, done very little wrong all afternoon. Finishes off in good style. That was a penalty in the mode of Stuart Pearce, driven hard and low to the keeper's left. Terrific power, terrific accuracy.
So it rests for Tottenham with Teddy Sheringham. Mark Crossley saved a penalty from Sheringham in the league game here last season. And he's done it again, and Nottingham Forest They're through to the quarter-finals thanks to a magnificent display of goalkeeping in the shootout by Mark Crossley, who sets off for the Forest fans at the other end of the ground. He saved from Wilson, he saved from Rosenthal, and here he saves from Teddy Sheringham.
Well, that's a magnificent save. Sheringham strikes it, accurate enough with power. Brilliant save from Crossley.
And Forest have that winning feeling at White Hart Lane yet again, but it's been a long, long haul. Spurs go out on their own ground. Great disappointment for Jerry Francis and his players, who so desperately wanted to go all the way after the despair of being losing semi-finalists last season. But Nottingham Forest, Frank Clark looks the coolest man in the ground, and I can't believe that for a minute. Forest live on to fight another day, and that day is nearby. Next Wednesday at the City Ground, when they take on Aston Villa in the 6th round. Thoughts of Bayern Munich and Europe put on hold. Plenty of progress domestically as well. Nottingham Forest are through in the FA Cup on the skill of their goalkeeper and the drama of a penalty shootout.